Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, wherever you are in the world, and welcome from me, Roger Cheetham, and the happiest of World Transformation Days. Now, you may not be familiar with World Transformation Day. It's a day which falls on the first Sunday every April, and is a day which is set aside for celebrating transformation and inspiration in the world to raise the level of humanity. And as someone who's all about transformational resilience, I'd like to share a little bit with you about my own transformational journey and that I've made of a certain other young man who I will talk to you about in a few minutes' time. My big day of transformation came back on the 9th of June 2013. It marked the transformation between me being a publican, licensee, bar owner, whatever it is you would term it in your country, going out as a dog walker, and by the end of that walk, becoming the victim of an attempted murder. Now, I say victim because that's how I saw myself back then, and that really was the start of my transformational journey. Over time, I've gone from being an attempted murder victim to an attempted murder survivor, and these days I proudly refer to myself as an attempted murder thriver. It's still not known who the three unknown masked individuals are who attacked me with fence posts and baseball bats that evening. However, I have drawn a line under that and moved on. That attack, however, did lead to me spending 3.5 months in a local UK hospital. 3.5 months during which time I had to find the resilience to cope with loneliness and isolation of being in a room all on my own, as on top of everything else I was dealing with, I managed to go and contract myself MRSA. Yay me! On a more serious note though, those 3.5 months in isolation, facing the loneliness and that isolation, not just between visiting hours, but particularly overnight, has meant that I really am aware of what so many people in the world are dealing with as I record this video. As this video is being recorded on Sunday the 5th of April 2020, which is World Transformational Day. As I do so, we're being hit by COVID-19 or coronavirus, which is really dominating the news and has most of the world on lockdown at some level or other. So I really am able to relate to people who are living with that kind of loneliness and isolation in their life. And the first thing I would say to you is social distancing doesn't necessarily have to mean social isolation, whether it comes down to picking up the phone and making a phone call to someone who may not have heard another human voice for days, or for those that are more tech savvy on both the instigator and the receiver of the communications point of view, then why not use something like a video call, whether that be via Zoom or Facebook or whatever technology it is that you and they are both comfortable with. So that in brief is my backstory, but it's not about me, it's about inspiring others in the world. And the story I'd like to go on to share with you now is a story about a young man who, for safeguarding purposes, I will name Declan. Declan was a 10-year-old young man in year 6, as we would refer to it here in the UK, which means in his last year of primary school before going up to secondary school. He's what back in my day would have been described as the cock of the school hard case, tough nut, whatever term it is that resonates with you. And Declan sat arms folded throughout my talk, with body language suggesting this guy isn't going to have an impact on me. The barriers are up from the off. However, fast forward 20 minutes to the end of that talk, and young Declan raised his hand and said, "Sir," which I found out afterwards was the only time he'd ever referred to someone with that amount of respect during the whole of his school journey. "Because you've shared that story, I want to share something that I've never told anyone beyond my best friends." He then went on to share that up to him being 18 months of age when he was adopted, that he had been so badly physically abused that he was left with brain damage for the rest of his life. Not only did that young man find the strength to share that, but in an area of South Yorkshire, here in England, UK, that is an ex-mining village where sadly there still exists a strong belief that boys don't cry, that young man then found the strength to cry the 8.5 years worth of tears that were pent up inside him in front of 29 of his classmates. And to me, if I never share this story with anyone again, and I never impact this story with one more person, then for me, the transformation that that particular occasion gave that young man has indeed been success enough. Once again, I bid you a very happy World Transformation Day and encourage you to share your stories in order to help others to share theirs and help the people that they in turn can also help. Thank you.